if I can recall correctly, there was once a philosopher, his name was Plato. He said that state is individual writ large, like a middle class person who earns money and then spend on the necessary expenditures, and he tries to save smartly. He has to go for his budgeting. He has to sit back and make sure that whatever comes in goes out in a certain way so that he can save money. Like that, a country of 140 crore people, they also have to make sure that their economy works fine, and they have to make sure that whatever expenditure is there, that has been taken care by the revenue. If not by the revenue, then what other sources can be? So government has to come up with their own budgeting. This time, this week, you will be seeing that there will be a union budget which will be presented in the budget session. Like that, there are various political developments which has happened in the last week. We will be talking about that. My name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Polity This Week by Drishti IAS. In this session, we will be talking about some of the important development which has happened in the field of polity, and that can be important for your examination. Herein, we will be talking about the budget session. You know that the budget session has started, and there was the first president's address which was there. So we will be talking about that as well. Then coming to the next one, civilian and the Gallantry awards. Herein we will be talking about these awards which has been declared on the 26th of January 2025. That is our Republic Day. That is 76th Republic Day which has been celebrated this time. So we'll be talking about that, these awards, and what are the static aspects which are covered over here. Then classification of denotified tribes. So we'll be talking about these 4 to 5 things which are there in our discussion today. Okay, so let's start with the discussion. First, we'll be starting with the parliamentary sessions. You know that there are 3 sessions which happens in general when we are talking about India. There is a convention that there will be 3 sessions of parliament in a year. Now, when we are talking about something which has been fixed by constitution with respect to the parliamentary session, so there is no such number has been defined in the constitution. So we will be talking about some of the important provisions over here. So let's start. Sessions of the parliament. The summoning of the parliament is specified in the article 85 of the constitution. They have specified that the president will convene the session of the parliament. Okay, but they have not said that how many sessions will be there. All these information is not there. Okay, the power to convene a session of parliament rests with the government. Government will be advising the president, and president will summon the session. Okay, the decision is taken by the cabinet committee on the parliamentary affairs, which is formalized by president. Okay, so cabinet committee will be taking the decision. They will be deciding the date, and then this decision will be conveyed to president, and president formally will summon the session. Okay, in whose name MPs are summoned to meet for a session. India does not have a fixed parliamentary calendar. As I told you that we do not have a fixed parliamentary calendar, or there is no such thing which has been mentioned in the constitution as well. By convention and not by the constitution, parliament meets 3 sessions in a year. Okay, so 3 times in a year parliament will be meeting. Now, before going further, I would want to tell you that we are providing ISGS foundation course for prelims as well as mains in offline mode. For English medium, batches are starting from 17th February, and for Hindi medium, batches are starting from 21st February at our new center, that is Noida Sector 15. For more details, you can call on this number which is given over here, 87501 87501, or you can directly visit the center and get yourself enrolled. Okay, now let's move back to the parliamentary sessions where we were discussing. Okay, now there are certain terms which you should be aware of, that is summoning of the parliament. As I told you, in the name of president, they will be summoning all the MPs. So what is summoning? Okay, summoning is the process of calling all the members of the parliament to meet. Okay, the president summons each house of the parliament from time to time. The gap between the 2 sessions of the parliament cannot exceed 6 months. Okay, so there cannot be gap between session 1 and session 2 that cannot exceed 6 months. Okay, so that is what has been given over here. Coming to the next one, so technically speaking, if they are talking about the gap cannot be exceeding 6 months, that means that minimum 2 sessions of the parliament will be there in a year. Okay, so that is there. Coming to the next one, adjournment. The adjournment terminates the sitting of the house, which meets again after a particular time period. Okay, so here you can see it meets again at the time appointed for the next sitting. So the chair of the house will be adjourning a session. At that point of time, they will be mentioning the time that at this particular time they will be coming back to the sitting. So basically what is happening over here, that if they are mentioning the time, then it is just an adjournment. After that particular time they will be meeting. Okay, if the time is not mentioned, then it will be adjournment sine die. Okay, that means that time has not been fixed over here. The postponement may be for a specified time such as hours, days or weeks. If the meeting is terminated without any definite time date fixed for the next meeting, it is called as adjournment sine die. We have already talked about that. Now coming to the next part, that is basically prorogation. Okay, a prorogation puts an end to the session. Now when we are talking about end of a sitting, that is basically done through the adjournment. Okay, and when we are talking about the end of a session, that is done by the prorogation. For example, now we have met for the budget session. Okay, now budget session is going on. The first meeting was there, and in that meeting something happened. Both the, you can say, the part of government and the opposition, they had an argument, and you can say the house has to adjourn for a while. Okay, so here that sitting is basically adjourned for a day or maybe for some hours. Okay, but once all the business of the budget session is concluded, and then if they are, leaving the house, after that they are not, meeting in that particular session, that is called as the prorogation of the house. At that point of time, the session ends over here. Okay, so the whole budget session will be ending. Coming to the next one, prorogation is the end of the session and not the dissolution of the house. Again, this is the end of the session. In the next session they will be meeting again. It is not a dissolution of the house. Coming to the next one, quorum. Now there is a minimum number of people has to be there, has to be present over there to make sure that the session convenes. Okay, so here you can say quorum refers to the minimum number of the members required to be present for conducting a meeting of the house. For a meeting of the house, this is the minimum number that should be there. That minimum number is called as the quorum. And what is the amount over here? That is the 1/10 of the strength of the house. Okay, so for Lok Sabha the quorum is different, for Rajya Sabha quorum is different depending on the total membership, and 1/10 of that will be basically the quorum. Okay, so that is about the terms which are important from your budget, you can say, parliamentary sessions. Okay, next we will be talking about the different sessions which are there in India of Parliament. So first we will be talking about the budget session. This is the first session which we have in India, because it starts when we are talking about the new year, when it starts. After that it will be held in the end of the January, and it will be the largest session, because ultimately they will be presenting the budget, they will be discussing, and then they will be passing it. Okay, so that is there. It is the longest, starts towards the end of the January and concludes by the end of the April or the first week of May. Okay, the session has a recess so that the parliamentary committee can discuss the budgetary proposal. As I told you that once there is the tabling the budget, after that there will be a recess in which parliament will go, and the parliamentary committees will scrutinize the budget, and after that they will meet again, wherein they will be going for the voting. Okay, after that the second session is the monsoon session, which is basically starting from July and finishes in the August. Okay, after that we have that is winter session, that is there in the month of November or December. So these are the three sessions which are there with respect to Indian parliamentary system. Okay, coming to the next one, when we are talking about the current session, we are talking about the budget. So there are some of the important facts which you should know. So article 112 of the Indian Constitution is talking about the budget. Okay, and interestingly it does not mention the word budget. Okay, interestingly they do not mention the word budget, they only say annual financial statement. Annual financial statement. Now this is budget only, but it is called as annual financial statement. So here you can say President of India to present the annual financial statement for each financial year before the House of the Parliament. Here the budget term is not mentioned anywhere in the Constitution. Okay, coming to the second one, what is the nodal body for preparing the budget? So we have budget division under the Department of Economic Affairs, which is under the Ministry of Finance. With the help of Niti Aayog, they will be constructing, or you can say making the budget. Okay, the first budget of independent India was presented in 1947. Other than that, in the session they will be going for these particular process over here. In the budget session you will be seeing that there will be presentation of the budget, that is they will be putting the, or you can say tabling the budget in front of the Parliament. Okay, generally it is done by the finance minister. After that you will be seeing that there will be a general discussion on the points of the budget, and after that there will be a recess, under which you will be seeing that there will be a scrutiny by the departmental committee. After that they will be meeting again, they will be going for the voting on the demands of grants. After that they will be passing of appropriation bill, where we talk about any kind of money which is being appropriated out by under the consolidated fund of India. So for that appropriation bill will be there. Once this bill passes, then only you can take money out of the consolidated fund of India. Okay, Now this is passing of the finance bill. That will be the last step wherein the budget will be passed. That is passing of finance bill. Okay, this is a kind of a money bill. So Rajya Sabha has limited power. Okay, Rajya Sabha can actually suggest the amendments, but they cannot go for it and they cannot vote also. Okay, so that is there. So you can, as a homework, you can go and read about the powers of Rajya Sabha with respect to money bill, specifically about the budget. Okay, that is your homework. Now coming to the next part over here, some of the constitutional provisions are there. What else the Constitution of India provides for when we are talking about the budget? Without the recommendation of the president, no demand for grant can be made. So for the demand for grants, you have to take the recommendation of the president. Second, no money will be imposing money bill imposing tax can be introduced in the parliament. So here also you have to take the recommendation of the president. In the end, we have no money can be withdrawn from the consolidated fund of India without the appropriation bill. So that we have already discussed. So this is about the budget session, different session of the parliament. Now let's move further to the next one. That is the presidential address. Okay. Every time whenever there is a new year or in the 1 year, the first session president will be addressing, because that will be budget session. In the budget session, there will be first the president's speech or the president's address. After the address is finished, then only you can go for the other business of the house. Okay, so that is there. So we'll talk about the president's address. Okay. Now there are two occasions on which president will come to the parliament to address the members of the parliament. One is the new Lok Sabha. Whenever there are elections, and after the elections, well, for the first time when Lok Sabha is coming into the parliamentary house, at that point of time president will be taking a session. And coming to the second one, that is every year the first session will be addressed by the president. Okay. So article 87 provides for the special address by the president. The article provides that the commencement of the first session after each general election, that is Lok Sabha elections, okay, at the commencement of the first session of every year, each year. So that is also there. Okay, generally it will be the budget session. The president shall address both houses of parliament assembled together and inform parliament of the causes of its summon, why the session has been summoned. She will be, or he or she will be mentioning the causes. Such address is called as a special address, and it is also an annual feature, because every year we have seen that the first session will be addressed by the president. Now no other business is transacted till the president has addressed both the houses of the parliament assembled together. Again, now it will be like a joint session where both the houses will be joined together. Okay, and president address will be there. Now what are the contents of the president's address over here? So statement of the policy of the government, whatever statement of the policy which has been drafted by the government, which has been given by the government to the president, he or she will be presenting that. Okay, so that is one thing. Second, review of the various activities which has been taken in the last year. So that will be talking about that as well. Coming to the next one, set out the policies, project and the programs for the next year, what they are planning. So they will be talking about that as well. Coming to the next one, items of the legislative business which are proposed to be bought during the session to be held that year. Okay, so these are certain things which will be discussed by the president, and that will be putting forward by the president in front of the house. Okay, so this is about the presidential address. We have talked about the parliamentary session, we have talked about the budget session, we have talked about the presidential address. Now coming to the next one, that is civilian and the gallantry awards. Now when we talk about Republic Day, some of the awards has been actually you can say named over here. So that is why it is important for us to read about that. Okay, so we will be talking about the civilian and the gallantry awards. Now when we talk about the civilian awards, Bharat Ratna is of the highest order. Okay, so India's highest civilian award is Bharat Ratna, instituted in 1954, award for the exceptional service and performance of highest order in any field of human endeavor. Okay, for that this award is been given. Award includes certification and the medallion. Medallion is given over here, that is written over here, that is Bharat Ratna. Okay, now moving further, recommended to president by prime minister. So basically the government of the day will be recommending to the president, and president will be giving this award. Okay, can be given thrice per year, maximum thrice per year. Okay, now moving further, there are Padma awards. So Padma awards are one of the highest civilian honor of India, announced annually on the Republic Day. Now this is specifically on the Republic Day only. Okay, so that will be announced on Republic Day. Recently also they have announced nearly 7 Padma Vibhushan and other Padma awards has also been announced. Okay, Now the award seeks to recognize the work of distinction and is given for the distinguished and the exceptional achievements and services in all the fields of activities and disciplines. Padma awards were instituted in 1954, same as Bharat Ratna. Okay. Now there are three categories: Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri. Okay, for different kind of services that is basically provided. Okay. Now, what is the eligibility? So, all the person without any kind of discrimination on the race, occupation, position or sex are eligible for that. Government servants, including which are working in the PSU, they are not eligible for it. Basically, the government servants are not eligible except for the doctors and the scientists. Okay, so that is one exception which is there. Coming to the next one, the award normally not conferred posthumously after the death. This award is normally not considered, but the in the exceptional cases that is given. This time also, okay, Sharda Sinha has been getting this particular award, and that award was posthumously given. Okay, so that is about the Padma awards. Here you can see Gallantry awards. If we talk about Gallantry awards, are generally given for the courage and bravery. Okay, so that can be given for the armed forces or specific different forces which has been created, or for the civilians as well. So instituted by the government of India to honor the act of bravery and sacrifice of the officers, personnel of the armed forces, other lawfully constituted forces and the civilians. So that is the important aspect which you should remember, that for civilians also these awards are there. Three Gallantry awards, that is Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra and Veer Chakra, are instituted by the government of India on 26 January 1950. Thereafter, three more categories were added, that is Ashok Chakra class 1, Ashok Chakra class 2, Ashok Chakra class 3, instituted in 1952. Okay, they were later renamed as Ashok Chakra, Kirti Chakra and Shaurya Chakra. Okay, so now we do not have class 1, class 2, class 3. Now we have Ashok Chakra, Kirti Chakra and Shaurya Chakra. Okay, the name has been changed in 1967. Here you can see this is your Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, Veer Chakra, Ashok Chakra, Kirti Chakra and Shaurya Chakra. Okay, now coming to the next one over here. These Gallantry awards are announced twice a year, one on the Republic Day, second on the Independence Day. Order of preference, if we talk about, so the first one will be your Paramveer Chakra, after that it will be Ashok Chakra, then Mahavir Chakra, Kirti Chakra, Veer Chakra and Shaurya Chakra. Okay, all the Gallantry awards may be awarded posthumously, so they can be given after death as well. Person recommended for the award shall not be having any kind of, you can say, basically you can say that that person should be of, you can say, clean image. Okay, so that is there which has been discussed over here with respect to the Gallantry awards. Now we can move further to the next one, classification of denotified tribes. Okay, recently there was this report which is saying that they, for various tribes which are denotified in India, they have been classified in different you can say zones. So we'll be talking about that. Now why is that they are called as the denotified tribes? So basically there was this act, okay, Criminal Tribes Act, way back in time of the British era. At that point of time there are certain tribes which were notified in that particular act as criminal tribes. Okay, after the independence we have repealed that particular act because it was derogatory to particular tribes over there. So that is why when we have actually repealed that particular act, now these tribes which were mentioned in that particular list, now they got denotified because they did not find their place in any other list. Okay, so that is why they are called as the denotified tribes. Now let's talk about them. Classification of the denotified tribes. Anthropological Survey of India and the Tribal Research Institution have for the first time broadly classified 268 denotified tribes, semi-nomadic and the nomadic tribes. 179 communities have been recommended for the inclusion in the SC, ST and OBC list. So out of this 268 tribes, 179 communities has been recommended for ST, SC or OBC list. Okay. Other than that, you will be seeing that 85 communities for the first time they will be classified under any category. So that is 85 communities for the first time they are being categorized under any you can say category. 63 communities were found not traceable. Okay, out of these 268 category you can say the communities, 63 they were not found because either they were integrated into the larger community or the mainstream society, name has been changed, or migration to the different states. So basically we cannot trace them. Okay, so there are such 63 communities. Okay, so that is about denotified tribes over here. If we talk about why they are called as denotified tribes, I have already told you that there was earlier a Criminal Tribes Act in 1871 and we have repealed it. That is why they are called as the denotified tribes. Okay, coming to the next one, why classification is necessary. Now if you go through the list of SC, ST, OBCs or otherwise whatever welfare programs are there, you will be seeing that for government provides for various welfare programs for OBC, SC, STs. You can see that there is a reservation as well. So since these categories are not classified, so they are not part of this, and that is why they have been left out of the benefits which are given by the government to these communities. Okay, so that is one thing. Second thing is, in the past there was atrocities which has happened against them. So to make sure that these marginalization are they are recovered for the from the marginalization, and some of the support is being provided by the government, they get that. So for that it is necessary that we go for the classification again. Okay, so that is about the denotified tribes. Now if we talk about the previous efforts, okay, so here you can say there were various commissions which were there. First, backward commission or Kaka Kalelkar commission, which was there in 1955, they have recommended for the classification. Okay, then Lokur committee was there in 1965, Mandal commission 1980, Ranke commission, that is there in 2008, Edete commission, which is there in 2017. Now this particular commission has identified 1200 DNTs, that is denotified tribes, semi-nomadic tribes and nomadic tribes. Okay, 267 communities were found to have never been classified. So this is about this particular discussion. Now we have some of the constitutional provisions which are there for the with respect to the provisions or the benefits which are there for the SC, ST and OBC community, or the protection which has been given. So we have already discussed them earlier as well. So now we can go through them in a very revision kind of manner. So article 17, article 23, when we talk about article 17, that is related to the untouchability. Okay, coming to the article 23, that is against the exploitation. Article 15 clause 4, that is kind of affirmative action with respect to the SC, STs and the woman and child. Okay, that is there. Permit special provision for the advancement of in the educational institution. Article 16.4, similar affirmative action which is there in the government employment. Coming to the next one, article 46, that is basically a DPSP, which is talking about the promotion of the educational and the economic interest of SC, ST and the other backward section of the society. Okay, coming to the next one over here, that is political representation. Article 330 and 332 is talking about that. Article 338 and 338A, that is basically establishment of the National Commission for SC and National Commission for ST. Then article 340, that is basically authorizing the president to appoint a commission for the investigation of the backward classes and recommendation related to that. That is on the basis of that we have the National Backward Classes Commission. Then coming to the next one, article 341, that empowers the president to specify SCs for any state and the union territories. Similarly, article 342 is there, which is to empower president to specify STs for any state or territory. And in the last we have a special administration for the STs, that is given under the schedule 5th and the schedule 6th of the constitution. Okay, I hope that is clear. This is about all the discussion which we had to do with respect to this particular last week. Now there is one question for you which you have to attempt and answer to me in the comment box. Which commission first attempted to classify denotified tribes after independence? Lokur committee, Kaka Kalelkar committee, Mandal commission or Edete commission? Okay, so you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.